Very warm welcome to all of our viewers. And today we have with us Major General Ashok Sheoran. He's a retired Indian Army veteran who is now a life coach. And apart from that, he is also a film producer. And today I'm more than excited to have him with us. He'll help us to get things done in the Army way. And let's listen to the podcast to know more about him. We welcome you, sir, to Sparc Nexus. You can take the stage.
Okay, thank you. So I'll wait for your interaction, whatever you'd like to ask me, and we'll have it in an interactive way. And
Yes,
I'm
yes.
glad that you flagged certain issues and brought them to my notice so I could do my homework and make out my points so that I can address your issues. So we can
Yes, yes.
start with whatever you have in mind.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, sir. So having spent a considerable amount here, I wanted to ask you personally, what is your philosophy of life, and how do you look at life, looking forwards and backward?
A nice one. My basic philosophy of life is that life is a journey. There is no destination. Unlike what people may perceive, life is what you live every day, every week, every month. There's a myth that, okay, if you focus on one thing, say from the age of 20 till the age of 35, 40, make a lot of money, become famous, have all the good things in life, and then you're going to live life. Unfortunately, life doesn't work like that. You cannot, as they say, strangulate life and put it into a narrow compartment and say, okay, I'm going to do this. Life is what is happening even now while we are talking. You have to live it by the day. You cannot do at 40 what you're supposed to do at 20. You cannot put it like that. So, what my recommendation is, you live life to the hilt on a daily basis. So, there are experiences which could be in the artistic field, in the either sports, travel, meeting people. Like I had the privilege of hitchhiking all over Europe in my 20s for 3 months. I could do it only at that age. You could lie on the side of the road, take a car, no matter where it's going, take a ride. You can do that at that age. I can't do it at 40. There's certain things are meant to be done. The other philosophies of life, my father had a great influence on me, and he just gave me two, 3 points. One is be a good person, don't harm anyone, help out people as much as you can. Second is do your best in life. You can't do better than your best. The result is not in your hands. Three is uh, there is no problem which doesn't have a solution. You think it through, analyze every problem. And the last two would be happiness is a state of mind. No one can give it to you, and no one can take it away. And lastly, live out your dreams as you live on a daily basis. Don't wait. Does
Okay.
that sum up my philosophy of life?
So that is something we hear a lot every now and then. But it's hard to just get through it. Like creating your own happiness, we always find our happiness somewhere else. So it's
Yes.
hard to implement it in our lives. One thing about life is that life is really uncertain. So as a life coach, what things do you suggest that students should experience at least once in their lifetime?
The uncertainty is unbuilt into life. When you look at life, it is not a straight line. It's not a linear progression. Even on your normal working day, when you get out in the morning and you set out, you don't know what the traffic is going to be like. You have no idea. You may get reached late. There are so many events which are not in your control, right? So now you learn to accept that. So uncertainty is inbuilt. Now, what you're calling uncertainty is not uncertainty. That's life. Like in warfare, you may have a plan and you feel your plan is very good, but the enemy has a plan too. So actually, you are now up against an enemy. So you are actually evolving on a minute to minute basis and you're re-evaluating. Similarly, in real life, what you're calling uncertainty is life. It's not uncertainty. It is going to happen. It's going to happen. Like even you finish this podcast, you finish video cast with me, and you step out, there may be a brand new input from somewhere which makes you change your mind about something. Now that's not uncertainty, that's life. So one has to learn to live with uncertainty, unpredictability. It is inbuilt. It is not something out of the blue. So once you have uh, got that philosophy going, nothing throws you off balance because you don't know what's going to happen next. And when you don't know what's going to happen next, then you are mentally tuned that no matter what life chucks at you, you are going to find a way out. And that is how one should work.
Okay, that's actually I mean, it's actually eye-opening that life is uncertain. I mean, you
Yes.
can't help it anyways. You have to just stand there and, face what life throws at you. Okay, get your
Yeah.
point. So one thing which is very important nowadays more than before is mental peace. So nowadays people are so much engrossed in their day-to-day life that we have forgotten to introspect and retrospect ourselves, and because of which we are not able to attain peace of mind. So
Okay.
according to you, what we can do to attain peace of mind?
Okay. Uh, I think the basic thing starts with first accepting yourself for what you are. And you temper your ambition, you temper your lifestyle as per you, what is your perception, where you want to reach. Do not go by peer pressure or what society has in mind for you. Once you doing your best, you must keep time out to do things that you enjoy. Now that is my pet subject when I come to lifestyle, and we'll be talking about it a bit later too. That how you must segregate your working hours from what is essential to keep alive, say eating and sleeping. There is a bracket in which you're actually living life. And that bracket where you're living life is what life is all about, right? So when you're looking inwards, don't get into over analysis, navel gazing. I would recommend you look at life in a very exuberant, joyful manner, right? Reach out, meet people, do things that you love, get into adventure sports, travel. Do not spend too much time in internalizing your gaze. You will find that life becomes a much happier place rather than getting into an introspective mood. It's good to be introspective, but there's no need to structure your thoughts in such a way that you constrain yourself, right? It is far better that you open out, uh, live life, meet up with people, read a lot, write, paint, run, play games, get out and about. It's far better.
Sir, I've actually seen that in you. You are talking and you are by your side connecting to people. You actually connected to it. So that was very nice for me that you, as such a, I mean, reached out person, is connecting to me. That's actually great, and that's actually we all should learn and we all should do to reach out people.
Thank
That's
you. Actually, what happens like in the army, our young officers and men are very exuberant. They're full of josh. We encourage that because in battle, that's what you need. They have to be on that the kind which is there. So I personally encourage that in everyone. So let me ask you, say now you are at this stage and you were asking me about experiences. What is it that you held back that you would like to experience this year?
I want to solo travel, sir. I mean, this is one thing in my bucket list that I want to solo travel. Also, I want to, do public speaking, like something on stage. I'm very excited and fascinated about that. So these two are definitely on my bucket list, which I want to experience, which
Fine.
I am holding back, of
You're
course.
too young to have a bucket list. Normally, you make it in your 80s.
Acha,
Okay.
okay.
So you're good at public speaking. You're doing very well on this show. You can consider becoming a video jockey even as a part time or something. It's nice because see that you must exploit each facet of your personality. There should be nothing in your personality which should be left unattended at every stage of your life. So if you have an artistic streak, you must start painting now. You like to write, start writing poems now. You want to travel, travel now. You want to reach out and meet people, do it now. So don't wait. You got a 24-hour cycle, enjoy life, and whatever you set your heart to, don't leave it to a bucket list, right? I have not made a bucket list as yet, right? So there's nothing left in a bucket actually. So I would recommend that whatever you have in mind in public speaking, etc. I think there are
Mm,
so many opportunities for your generation to flower out. Use that. I hope that
right.
answers that question.
It actually does that. We should actually not have a bucket list only. I mean, right? We should do it right now. Okay, got you, sir. So, okay. So to be the best, one must be able to handle the worst. So how have you dealt with downfalls in your life, and how do you think we should also deal with downfalls in life?
But downfall, what you are calling ups and downs, are a part of life. You cannot go up unless you're down. I mean, if you're already a millionaire, then you can only become a billionaire, right? I mean, so unless you have no money, you don't become a millionaire. Just understand that as the philosophy. There is no, again, like I said, a linear progression. Ups and downs are very much part of your day, part of your week, part of your month. So what you're looking on as a negative is not a negative. It is a part of your work process. Because unless you have the negative, you can't have a positive. You understand? How do you make money if there's no money? Firstly, you have to be flat, then you make money. If you already got money, you'll make more money. So unless you lose the money, how do you make money? Just think about it
Right.
philosophically, right?
I know. Got it.
Yeah,
Got
so
it.
it's not a negative. Second thing is everything is not in your control. In fact, you control just about 10%. Why do I say that? Say you are in a business. You entered when it is peaking. Now look at what is happening today, say in the IT industry in the United States. This morning paper says 2 lakh people have been laid off recently, right? And 30% are Indians. Now they are running around looking for visas. Now, this is events are not in their control. Because of worldwide recession, jobs have been laid off. So you will find that as you go along, majority of events are not in your control. So what is not in your control, you can't control. Now, how do you handle that? What you're calling a down. First is sit back. And like say, I'm pulling up this paper over here, you write down the problem. And then you say option, option, option. Out of the options, select the one which is most workable and just go at it. And this should be on a daily basis. The moment you're confronted with something not in your control, analyze it, find an option, go at it as a plan. And again, philosophically speaking, accept it that there will be what you call a downside or a dip to everything that you planned out in life.
Mm.
And
Right.
what is in your control is in your control. That's your control. But what is not in your control, don't fret and fume. Sit down, analyze, react. Does that answer your question?
It does, it does. So to sum it up, there's a very popular saying: "For the sun to rise, it has to set."
Absolutely. You put it across very nicely.
Right.
Great.
Okay. So you have been in the army. Okay. So obviously you have to face a lot of fear. So everyone has a fear of one thing or the other. How can anyone triumph over the fear? And have you gone through that tough phase of your life? And if you have gone through, obviously you must have. How did you deal personally with that situation?
That's a nice one. Yeah. Okay. Uh, Firstly, fear is normal, right? Fear is a natural part of human evolution. And when you put fear, it'll come into three basic habits. One is rational, then you have primeval, and then you have irrational, right? These are fears. Rational fear is what is physical. A man with a knife, it is there, it's cogent. Primeval is a part of evolution, say a fear of snakes. Irrational is where there's no logic, say fear of darkness, right? It's not logical. So that is fear. Now I'd like to go further into this. Many people mix up all the terminologies. There is fear, apprehension, anxiety, stress. Okay. Now let's take them one by one. Fear is natural, normal phenomenon. The first step is accept it. Everyone is fearful, even in battle. There is fear. And fear is what keeps you alive. That is what keeps you going. That is your instinct is up. And you are looking around all sides. That is why you stay alive in battle, because fear is keeping you going. Aim is to fight it. You fight it by being rational. You fight it by being motivated. That is the cause that you believe in has to be stronger than the fear, which is why you keep going, right? Irrational fear is something which must be explained. You have to find a way out. That why am I scared of the darkness? Why am I scared of closed spaces? Why am I scared of certain places or people? It is irrational. Apprehension is something which you perceive is going to happen, which may not happen. You may be apprehensive that, okay, I've given my exam, what is the result going to be like? It's an apprehension. I'm going for an interview. I don't know what the interview is going to say or think about me. Apprehension. So apprehension is something which is not real. So that is something which you have to get rid of. Once the deed is done, relax. Second one is anxiety. Anxiety is more real life. It's a current situation. Somebody is in operation theater, you're sitting outside. Anxiety. You're sitting in the examination hall, you got a paper right in front of you, that anxiety. Right? It's real. It's in the same time frame. Again, it's normal. When prolonged anxiety becomes stress, and stress is going to have a very major impact on your health in the long term, must be avoided. So once you identify each of these, you must know what is causing it. Have a deep look at it. Analyze why you're feeling like that and come up with a solution yourself. Strengthen your mind that, okay, I'm going through this, it doesn't make sense. So one has to battle it out. But the first part is acceptance. It starts with, I am stressed. And it's okay, why am I stressed? And then you come out with the reasons. When you write it down and you look at the answers, you'll be surprised how you start calming down as you go along, because now you found a solution. So what is the worst that can happen? Write it down. I'll fail the interview. So what? Now you say, what next? I'll approach so and so. Great. So work your way around it. So that is my outlook towards fear and stress.
Right, so the very first step which we miss out is that we don't even accept it, which actually is what I do. I never tell anyone that I'm stressed or myself. I'm not stressed. Why will I be stressed? So this is a
Okay.
state of denial that okay, I can't be stressed. With okay, that's
So
right. We
best
should
is
accept.
accept it.
Right, right.
Accept it.
Hmm.
First part in anything is acceptance.
Good.
Then is analysis
Hmm.
with a cool, calm mind. Okay, write it down. Why do I feel like this?
Hmm. Hmm.
And then solution. Everything has a solution. Have faith in yourself.
So I have seen in almost all your answers writing it down. Writing it down is very, sometimes I write it down, sometimes I don't. So writing it down is very important according
Yeah,
to you, right?
very,
Maybe.
very important. In fact, when you write down anything, it's therapeutic. Whether you're writing poetry, you're writing prose, you're writing an analysis, you are journaling. Uh, the advantage of that is your thought process gets structured. You're doing it actually all the time. Say you're making a plan for a movie today. Actually, you're making a plan, right? It's a structured thought in your mind. Now, if you write it down, you'll find the structure become much firmer. What time are you going? Who are you going to go out with? How do you do after that? I mean, you're going to structure it out, right? Now, when you do it mentally, it's fine. But when it's a more complex problem, I find writing it down, analyzing it, it gives a far more potent analysis than just mentally trying to go through. Try it out.
I'll definitely do that. Right. Okay. So you have been in the army again, once again. So one thing which people see, which people, when we look at the army, we see discipline, self-discipline. Okay. So which is very, very important in anyone's life. Okay. So you must have experienced a very strict discipline environment. Do you think that self-discipline is important for an individual to develop? And what do you find the most difficult about self discipline, and how can we overcome that? How can we ourselves become disciplined?
Uh, when you look at discipline in the army, most people look at someone very smartly turned out, giving a salute, obeying orders implicitly. Actually, it's a very, very small part of discipline. When I say, give an example of discipline, think of, say, a battle, you're going into attack. The artillery fire that comes down is timed to the second. Because as the tanks and infantry approach the enemy objective, the artillery fire is 3 to 500 meters ahead. Now, the discipline in that is if it goes off by even a few seconds, the shells are going to land on your own troops. That is discipline. An aircraft had to refuel in midair, it comes to split seconds. That is discipline. A naval tanker refueling a ship at sea has to do it in those minutes they have to be going together. That is discipline. Engineers constructing an assault bridge, if you see them at work, they're actually running and putting things. And they construct it in 1.5 hours to 2 hours. Discipline. Army discipline is where you carry out your task in a most efficient manner with the least number of orders. So actually, when I look at discipline, I don't look at the discipline as a, as a discipline as a standing at attention and saluting. No. You look at discipline as doing the correct thing at the correct time in the most efficient manner. That is discipline. The second part, I come to self-discipline. Self-discipline is something intrinsic. It's inherent, right? It's what you are all about. Now, in self-discipline, there are two aspects to it. One is societal pressure, right? Which tells you what the self-discipline should be. So there will be people who say get up early, sleep early, eat this, eat that, do this, do that. Good people don't do this, good girls don't do that, bad girls do this. This is societal. So based on that, you come to a norm of so-called self-discipline. The other one of self-discipline is indulgence, or rather overindulgence or an addiction. Now let's segregate the two. We talk about self-discipline. Firstly, you must know yourself. What are you? Are you liberal? Are you artistic? Are you more prone towards following law and order, right? Or are you a free spirit? What are you first? Identify yourself. Second, everyone has a body clock and circadian cycle. We peak every 8 hours and go into a trough every 8 hours. It's very important to work it out because no two match. I run in the night between 8 and 9 in the night. I sleep late, I get up late. It works for me. I'm fit, healthy, happy, so fine. But somebody else, they get up at 5 in the morning and run. So there's no one to lay down that what is self-discipline in terms of your lifestyle. That is your choice. Self-discipline, I would say, is where you prevent self-harm. Self-harm through overindulgence and addiction. Social media can be an addiction. It is self-harm. If you cross a certain limit, if it is affecting your mind, it's affecting your health, then call for self-discipline to restrict it. Shopping. Some people are shopaholic. Some people are alcoholic. Some people are drug addicts. So any overindulgence is going to affect you. And that is what I call self-discipline. So now I've put it into three separate things. Discipline, what I feel by it, and in self-discipline. One is societal pressure, ignore it. You do what suits you and avoid overindulgence. Three things. I hope that covers the disciplinary
It does.
aspect of.
Yeah, it does. It actually does.
Okay, great.
So a very hot topic in today's world, especially the corporate world, is work-life balance, right? So how do you manage? Like in the army, the work-life balance is completely different. I mean, you must be going home once in a year or something. So, how do you manage your work and personal life successfully without them turning into conflict so that it does not hinder your personal well being? Also, working excessively might sometimes work against achieving our goals, which shows the relatively importance of work life balance. So, can you throw some light on this particular saying and how should we maintain this work life balance?
I'm glad you brought this up, Payal, because this is one of my pet subjects. It forms the kernel of my philosophy. And it's actually a full subject. All the points you brought out so far, actually full subjects by themselves. So I'm covering everything in brief nutshell. When you elaborate, there's so much more to it. Lifestyle, my philosophy, what I call 33% life. Right? It's coined by me. Why do I say that? You take a working day, a working week, or a working month, right? You will find that one third of our time should go or will go towards work, right? 8 hours, 9 hours, 7 hours, whatever work. And 7 to 8 hours will go towards eating and sleeping, which is essential to keep you alive and keep you going, essential for your health. Now you are left with 8 hours. That is life. When you look back, what you did in these other 8 hours, when you are not working and not sleeping, is what your life is all about. And in that, you must put 1 hour aside for exercise. When I say exercise, I mean vigorous exercise, where hundreds of muscle groups are working. You're panting where you can't speak. Your heart rate has gone up to twice its resting rate. And you are doing strength training to strengthen your muscles like crunches, push ups, tennis, cycling, swimming, vigorous exercise. Now that leaves you another 5 hours. That is what your life is all about. You're meeting friends, you're meeting people, you're listening to music, you're writing, reading, and that is life. So, unless you balance out all the three things, your life is going to go for a spin, right? Lifestyle is extremely important. And again, you cannot wait. So, you find people work very, very hard till the age of 40 and they make a lot of money and say, okay, now I'm going to live life. Now, he works for 12 hours every day, takes off Saturday and Sunday, and then you should see their program. 7 o'clock, I'll go for a walk in the Ravlis. 9 o'clock, I'll play golf. 11 o'clock, I'll go to the club. 5 in the evening, and you keep ticking off the boxes, right? And then in that 48 hours, you cram everything you should have done for the last 20 years and you keep taking it off. So you ride once a month and it's your riding week earlier. 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Not life. That's not lifestyle. Lifestyle is now, today. Lifestyle is something which you evolve today, as of today. Then you must take time out between and temper your ambition. Temper the ambition with reality. The ambition should never overcome reality. Ambition should be in line with what you can achieve, should achieve, can achieve. Ambition should not overtake life, right? So this is my life philosophy, and which I tell everybody that starting from 20 onward till the time you're ready to kick the bucket, live life.
I mean, you just turned up my perspective because this is what every one of us thinks. Like, we'll work hard till 30 and 40, and after that, we'll enjoy. And it actually doesn't work like this. So, thank you for this. This was the weekend. Okay.
How often are
Got
you
your point.
exercising?
So, I should actually, I don't exercise much. Sometimes I go for evening walks. That's it.
Evening walk. You are in your 80s. Even my generation is not walking. We all running and cycling and swimming. I mean, you're waiting to turn 80. So you're doing in
No,
your 20s what I'm doing and plan to do if I'm 80s, if I'm still alive and kicking. You're too young for
I,
that.
I, I know. I actually have to change that. I should exercise.
Okay. That's a separate subject by itself, again, because health and fitness is again one of my pet subjects, but you can leave that for another day. Definitely farm because you see your body secretes a lot of endorphins, a lot of enzymes, the blood flows, your brain gets picking, you come out very confident, glowing. A very, very important exercise. People put it on the back burner. I would put it the other way around. Your physical health and fitness is number one, followed by emotional, intellectual, and philosophical depth. Physical and mental, physical health comes number one in life. Everything else is secondary. You will realize that as you go along.
I just want that before I realize I start working on it. Right. Also, I've heard this pros that your body is a home you're going to live for the next 50 to 60 years. Maintain it. So, okay.
Okay, great.
hmm So next one would be as an army veteran, there would have been many cases of extreme pressure. We in our student life also sometimes face extreme pressure. So how have you dealt with the pressure? And obviously, how should we deal with the pressure, which is very negligible in comparison to what you have faced? But again,
Actually, coming back to this, I put pressure under three different heads because we tend to mix it all up. One is work pressure, second is social pressure, and third is emotional pressure. Right now, they come from different directions. Don't muddle them up; they are separate. Work pressure is where you are trying to achieve an objective efficiently in a given time. You could be writing a project even now, part of your college work. You are here sitting in this video cast, but your mind will be somewhere else. Oh God, I got to finish that. Right? Happens. All right. Now that is work pressure. Work pressure does not leave is not debilitating because it's something finite. I mean, you do that work, and it comes under work efficiency, which is a totally different subject by itself. Second one, which actually gets you down, is social pressure. Social pressure is the one that brings people down. What are my peers thinking? What are others thinking? What am I on social media? What if I don't make it? What if I don't get success? What if I meet my college mates after 20 years? So and so is in USA doing this, so in Europe, and I'm here. What is my rate of success? Third is emotional. Emotional is in relationships. Relationships in your family, relationship with your siblings, with your parents, with your friends. So when you segregate all of these, then you learn to handle each one. Under work pressure, basically you're looking at efficiency, which is input versus output. That in your job content, how much can you contribute towards your own success in the most efficient manner? It is not time. It is how much you can put in that period of time to achieve a certain thing. And that is where in the work pressure, you work out internally how best you can deliver. Right? Now, in our case, what happens in the army is you carrying out an operation. The success of that operation is what counts. There are no runners up. So if you are out on an anti-terrorist operation, till you get that terrorist, you have not got success. So you can keep running round and round in circles, doesn't help. So we are looking at success. You're looking at success. That the operation must be successful. Period. In your case, anyone's case, when you're looking at work pressure, you are looking at delivering. And how you deliver is your business. You can do it in minutes, you can do it in hours, you can do it in days. Social pressure is something which you have to overcome. You have to have faith in yourself, confidence in your ability, that you are living life on your terms and not on anybody else's terms. You don't envy others, don't look at others. Let them do what they like. Because nobody's life is what you think it is or what they're putting out on social media. I may go on Instagram on a beach and say, okay, look, I'm looking great. You don't know what's going on in my mind. You don't know what's happening to me. I'm just looking great sitting on a beach. Fine. But that's not reality. That's just a picture. And last is emotional pressure. In that, I think one must look objectively at each relationship. And in emotional hurt, my famous saying in that is anybody who feels for you will never hurt you. And those who hurt you don't deserve you. Period. So if you're in some kind of toxic relationship, somebody has crossed a certain red line, let go. So that answers.
So I was into that thing. So one thing I just want to pick up from the last sentence you spoke. What happens sometimes we hurt ourselves. There's no one hurting us. We make pictures in our mind,
Yes.
and we think we overthink actually, which is a very bad thing, and we hurt ourselves. No one is hurting us. They don't intend to hurt us.
Yes.
It just happens.
You're right. Absolutely right. That is why, if you remember, somewhere right in the beginning, I said, I'm totally against navel gazing, too much internalizing. In your generation, I find this very, very common because I'm interacting with hundreds of people. Uh, Too much introspection. You all tend to overanalyze yourselves, perpetually in a state of analysis. Now is the time where you should just forget about that. You do what you enjoy. Don't come under pressure, looking at your peers, looking at others, what others are doing. I know so many in the colleges who are getting into what they call societies. So unless you got 2, 3, 4, 5, you feel you haven't reached. Now, in our time, there was nothing. I mean, we were nothing. We just enjoyed everything. I mean, there was no pressure. I mean, nobody even thought of joining. I mean, you just a college life was not meant to put yourself into two to three internships and tick off that look, I'm an intern here and I've done this society and I'm here and I'm here. I'm in 6. How many are you in? You say I'm in none. I'm having a blast. I'm in college. I'm not a 40-year-old CEO of a startup. I'm 20 years old. I'm living life. You stick to your societies. You understand? This is boldness. This is you. That's yourself. I'm not against joining societies. I'm against putting yourself under pressure, peer pressure.
You actually depicted the whole picture of the minds of our students. So this
I'm
is
glad. No,
actually
I've got
one.
a certain life philosophy. I have a
Um,
certain very, very army type life philosophy, what we are all about. So it differs from other philosophies, which is why we are talking, right? That is why I'm here.
Okay, that was actually very. We need to. Okay. So, one question which is very, very close to me at least. So, in the world, this world is full of different people, and especially when we come to college, we just come out of that bubble. So, in this world of different people, who do you consider as your friends? How do you determine that who is your true friend? And how can you or anyone be someone's true friend? Like, for example, earlier you said you should have plenty of friends and you should talk to people, whatever. So, there's a very famous saying, quality over quantity. Okay. But as for you, we should have many close friends. So, is that does it mean that we should support quantity, or what that is? What is it? Friendship according to you, true friendship.
Okay. So let me ask you, say, a trick question. You're out on a road at night and you meet with an accident, minor, but you're stranded on the highway and it's 11 in the night, a lonely stretch. Who would you call for help outside your family? Second, you suddenly decide on Saturday night at 10 o'clock, okay, I want to go to a pub. I want to have a beer and I'm going to dance. Who do you call? Third is, I give you a challenging project to write and you have to write it now. And you need help from someone to sit with you and write. Who would you call? If you think of these three things, you will find they are different people. You will be calling X for help on the road. You will be calling Y to go to a pub, and you will be calling Z to help you. That is what people are. Every person fills in a facet of your life. No one human being can ever meet all your emotional, physical, intellectual, philosophical requirements. So you will have different people fitting into different segments. You accept people for what they are. Don't be judgmental. Don't be critical. Right? You let them be what they are, what they are. You have just have red lines. The red line should be if someone has got a certain viewpoint which is toxic or is totally against your worldview, that person should not come into your inner circle. Beyond that, I would say open out. Accept everyone for what they are, pimples and warts. Don't be judgmental. You'll be surprised your best friends will always be those from school and college. The simple reason is there's no artifice. You are what you are. Later on in life, everybody has a facade. So it's like peeling off an onion. As Niraj Chaudhary writes, you are just peeling off layer after layer after layer and trying to get to the kernel. At this stage, you are the kernel. There are no layers. My best friend goes back to class one from the age of 6. Ram Ramaswamy, who's here in Gurgaon, is a senior professor at IIT Delhi, ex-chancellor of JNU of Hyderabad University. We are still the thickest of friends. We meet up every week. And we go back from class one. And he's here in Gurgaon. So I'm lucky to have him here. So I'm just giving an example. Others are all my classmates and course-mates. Course-mates go back to NDA, 1969. We are thick as thieves. These are friends. There is no artifice. We are what we are. We enjoy each other's company. So my answer to this is very close friends, what you're looking at. Very close, who you can confide in, open out to, know you, understand you, you fight with them, you get back with them. Will never be more than 4 to 5 or 5 to 6. Others would be friends, and then there are acquaintances. So learn to mix, meet everyone in their own terms, and each one will satisfy a certain facet of your personality.
Okay,
Does
I
that answer
absolutely.
your? Does that?
It absolutely does. It does. Yes. So basically, what I pick up that we are too quick to judge people, and we just judge them instantly. And okay, we tell that this person should not be my friend. This is where we should stop, and we should actually meet that person. I just got your point,
Yes,
and
that's right.
right.
And keep an open mind as you go along. Accept people for what they are.
Right.
As long as they're not impinging on you, they're not crossing red lines, accept them. In fact, the more colorful people there are in your life, it will be so boring if everybody was the same. I mean, when there's a birds of a feather, it's so dull. Imagine if you're all pigeons. I mean, what sense does it make? I mean, there has to be someone who is a brilliant, eccentric, different, little wild, or outgoing, someone studious. You have all types. And each one is interesting in their own way. So don't uh, discard or accept anyone at face value. You go as it goes. And remember, actions speak more than words. In the end, it's not words, it's behavior. And by the way, human instinct is very, very strong. We are basically hunting animals. We have very strong instinct of what's an adversary and what is a friend. And we don't use our instinct. There's a very good book by Malcolm Gladwell called Blink. It talks about human behavior. I think it's a must read for anyone who wants to study human behavior. It's a very, very well written book. And of course, Malcolm Gladwell is famous. And so it just gives you an idea, just one book on human behavior will give us to how humans size each other up in seconds. It's very interesting read.
Okay, I'll definitely try to read that book. That was actually a very nice explanation to what why do we need friends and what friends are. Next one. So this question is not very personal to you. Do you have any regrets in life?
Yeah, it's actually no, there's no regrets. There's a simple reason behind it. It's not that I've led a perfect life anywhere, I'm very far from it. But I learned very early in my life, early means say by my 40s, that looking back at life, right, actually doesn't make any sense. Uh, there's a simple reason behind it. When you take a decision, you take a call, right? You take it as per what is today, your cognitive process, like today, say you're taking a call on what you're going to do next. It is with existing inputs, where you are as Payal Dugar today on this date in January, as of now, while talking to me. And these are the inputs that you have as of now. So you take a call. Now, the same input may not stay constant next month, may not stay constant next year. So hindsight is no answer for any kind of regret. But yes, you draw lessons, you draw experiences, and you learn from lessons and experiences. Now, you learn this from military history, and you study all battles from history. You can go back thousands of years, and every military historian then find out this chap went wrong, he went wrong, and you say, how silly! How could he not think it through? After all, when Napoleon invaded Russia in 1812, and they had suffered a massive defeat. They lost almost 5 lakh men in that war, and they came back a defeated army. But in 1810, when he made the plan, in that plan he thought he will overrun Russia in months. You understand? Because that is the input that was available to us at that time. Hindsight is a 2020 vision. So examining your actions from hindsight, actually regret then makes no sense. You learn lessons, but no regret. So, like I said, I have no regrets whatsoever because I lived a full life. And I think the only regret anyone may have is not because you did something, because there was something you should have done and didn't do. So, like when I am talking to you now and you want to travel or you want to be a VJ and you didn't do it at this age, when you're 40, you'll say, oh God, there I was sitting totally free in college. I could have done this. That's a regret. If you do it and you fail, you laugh at it. I say, oh God, I tried to be a VJ and I was a disaster. And you'll have a great laugh at it because you tried it, you did it. So there'll never be a regret for anything you did. Remember that. Regret will always be for missed opportunities. And missed opportunities are what you recognize now.
I got your point, sir.
Okay,
So,
great.
one last thing, one advice, final. All of these were advices and advices,
Okay,
which were very important and which actually opened up, gave me a new perspective. So, this one is one final advice you would like advice you would like to give your 20 years old self
okay,
to yourself. Yeah.
all right. To a 20-year-old, I would say, you are 20 just once. And then you'll be 21 just once. And you'll be 22 just once. Right? You live life of a 20-year-old. You do what a 20-year-old is supposed to be doing. Don't start looking at yourself that, okay, I'm going to put my 20-year-old self on a back burner. I'm going to work very hard, very, very hard. And I'm going to make a lot of money. And I'm going to become a CEO. And then I will do this. And then I'm going to go back. I'm going to live out all these glorious years of 20, 21, at the age of 40, 41, 42. Don't do that. You are where you are. Live as you are. Live life as a 20-year-old college student. That's my advice.
That was actually an advice everyone needs right now. Okay, so
I'm
with
glad.
this we right. So with this we come to the end of this podcast. So it was very great interacting with you, sir. It actually opened up my mind and it actually gave me a new perspective of looking at life. Thank you so much, sir, for coming here, and I hope our viewers also picked up things which they needed at this stage of life. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. In fact, it's been a real pleasure interacting with you. You people are the sharpest, I would say, on planet Earth. Uh, all the brains of today are there, and all the colleges, Hansraj, all the other colleges. You are all top notch, and it's always very interesting and challenging. And I find it a massive that while I'm interacting, I learn a lot from all of you. And in fact, I would like the end of this that in the army way, we would like more and more people to join what I call the general classroom to discuss any subject that they would like a discourse on, which we can address, like we are doing here. And I would welcome anybody and anybody to join in the army ways discourse of things. Thank you so much, Payal. It's been a pleasure. And I wish Spark all the very best in the endeavors. And I'm sure each one who is listening to this, all of you, are going to flower out and achieve great success and happiness in life. All the best to you and to all of you.
Thank you.
God
Thank you.
bless.
Thank you.
Thank you.